Hello, everybody. Welcome to Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like. Trying to hit 50K subscribers over here, so the subscription would be much appreciated. I am back doing the starters in a tier list video. This time we are doing shooting guards, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm so sure that Alex Caruso is a bench player, so it's hilarious that he is the first guy on this list, but whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole who's starter or who's not shit for this one. It was just taking up too much time last time. I'm just going to rank everyone here, and starting with Alex Caruso. He is a good to great starter, which also means that he is a fucking phenomenal bench player. And yes, I decided to also label these tiers more specifically just to be clear what I mean when I put these players in these categories. So Andrew Nembhard, I can say, is in a similar position, as he is a pretty damn solid starter for the Indiana Pacers. I do have him as one of my leading most improved player candidates, so it wouldn't necessarily shock me if he ended up breaking out into being even more than just a good to great starter. But as of right now, that's what I would label him to be. Austin Reaves, I feel similarly, where he could be an all-star tier guy, possibly, but, my feeling on the potentiality of something like that happening has definitely decreased since he was just fucking abysmal in the playoffs. I am actually unsure exactly what Bilal Coulibaly's numbers looked like from this previous year, because I think they were a little disappointing. Yeah, his three-point percentage, 6% dip, even lost his efficiency a little bit along with it. His counting stats did go up, doubled his assist average. Points per game went up by 50%, and he got a little bit more minutes, and he's only 20 years old. So, I still believe in Bilal Coulibaly being a pretty damn good player. However, he did not have a great season, so I'm going to put him in solid bench player / passable starter. Now, he's also 6'8" and definitely a small forward. But whatever, we're going to keep on moving. Brandon Miller is someone who I'd also like to refresh myself on his season. Yeah, he didn't play much. That's why I don't remember much from him this year. His numbers went up, although his efficiency went down. Damn, I didn't realize bro was taking 10.9 threes a game. That's crazy. I really like Brandon Miller a lot. I think that he can be an all-star player one day. That is one day. That is not right now. So I think I would put him in this good to great starter category. And from what I have surmised to this point, it seems like we're going to get a lot of guys in this category, because I would put Christian Braun in that exact same position. I would put Cam Thomas in that same position. Christ, I think everyone on this fucking list is in this category. CJ McCollum, good to great starter. Kobe White, good to great starter. Desmond Bane, I am going to go ahead and put in the all-star category. Now, obviously, he has not been an all-star before, but I do think he has had all-star level production before. To be clear, when I call someone an all-star, I don't even necessarily mean that they literally made the team. But Desmond Bane, I think, is in that tier of players. Devin Booker, I think we can put in the superstar tier. And keep in mind, when it comes to the positional stuff, I have more leniency when it comes to labeling someone as a superstar, because is Devin Booker a superstar? Is Anthony Edwards a superstar? Is Donovan Mitchell a superstar? I think they're all kind of on the border. They're on the cusp of that for what I label as a superstar in general, which, if you did not know, my personal definition of a superstar is someone who I believe to be capable of being the best player on a championship team. Booker, Mitchell, Edwards, I'm on the fence about them consistently. I regularly end up going back and forth as to whether I would label them that. But within the shooting guard position, within just amongst their peers, they are absolutely superstars. And this is a position that is both not very deep and not very talented. I did the way that we launched the Deep Dives channel was doing the Death of the Power Forward and Who's Next video, and the conclusion was that shooting guards are next. How is Zach LaVine not on this? Is just hitting me now that Zach LaVine is not here. Maybe I chose a bad list. I don't know. We shall see. But I am going to go ahead and throw Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards in this category. Devin Vassell is kind of in between B and C, and I'm going to go ahead and put him in C because B is so crowded. He had a down down year, and I also think he's just been asked to be more than he is by the San Antonio Spurs because they were just lacking in perimeter creation. I expect him to have a better year this upcoming season with the Spurs because he is going to be more slotted into that third option where I think he will thrive far better than trying to be the second option next to Victor Wembanyama. I am gonna have to put Dyson Daniels in the good to great starter category. If he was better offensively, he'd be in this all-star category though. He's just he's a star defensive player. And you can say the same for Alex Caruso, even though he doesn't quite score at the volume of Daniels. For some reason, Dyson Daniels, like, I know who he is. I've watched him play a million times, but then I'll forget his name. For just long enough to be like, it's Dyson Daniels, right? Yes. Anyways, Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. was really good for the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs. I'm a big believer in Gary Trent Jr. in general. He's someone who I've always advocated for trading for. However, he is just a solid bench player / passable starter. Grady Dick is an interesting one. I believe, I can't remember if it was this year or last year that he started off super high. I think it was this year where he was like averaging 18 for the first like month or so. Let me see here. Yeah, for his first 17 games, he averaged 18 points per game. Only 34% from three when he's primarily a three-point shooter, and still getting into that territory is cool. It was also primarily just a product of somebody has to shoot the ball. And overall on the season, 14 points per game, 6 threes a game, 35% on those. Not really great for a guy who's known to be a shooter. I can't really speak to the quality of his defense. I'm really unsure of that, but if we're just going based on the stereotypes of what white movement shooters typically do on the defensive end, the answer is not much. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to put him in C, but he could be B. I wouldn't be shocked if he was a B level player, but just based on this last season, his shooting splits were not very impressive. 14 points per game is cool, but not contributing much outside of that on a losing team. So I'm not going to give him too much credit. We can go ahead and put Tyler Hero in this all-star category. Now, what's interesting is there's a couple of guys in this, you can't even fucking see the people in the B tier no more. I think there's Tyler Hero is at this place where he's very good and averages a lot of points on the Miami Heat, but if his role was reduced back to being like the third guy on a team, I feel like I'd rather just have Alex Caruso in that instance. Not that he would be a better third option, but just a better player to have than paying Tyler Hero $40 million to be a third option and then not a good defensive player and just a okay but not phenomenal playmaker. So he basically, what I'm getting at is he is a lower tier all-star, even though he firmly is in that category. And by no means do I believe last year was like a fluke all-star appearance at all. He is definitely capable of being in that category. He just definitely wouldn't be like a perennial guy. I'm going to put Jalen Green into straight up mid/bad, which is probably controversial because of course the guy does have good regular seasons. However, he is, how do I put it? If you are that fucking awful in the playoffs, I kind of don't care at all what you did in the regular season, and maybe there's some contradictions in that within this list that I'm not spotting at the moment. But also, when you contextualize the amount of money that he's making, I just think he's one of the worst contracts in the NBA. I'm gonna put KCP into this category as well. Sucks to see because I was a KCP fan for basically his entire career, but yeah, he's not particularly good. Kelly Oubre. I'm unsure about Kelly. Did not spend a lot of time watching the Sixers this year for fairly obvious reasons. Yeah, he takes so many threes while being bad at them. He scores 15 points on 12 and a half shots. I'm gonna put him in D. I'm sorry. Like, people look at scoring volume and inherently are like, okay, that's a solid player. But man, I just don't think he's very good. Jaden Ivey is a very difficult one to rank because he was playing good but not amazing. I do remember he was fucking phenomenal in the preseason. season, like playing like damn Michael Jordan. It's 17 points per game. He shot 41% from three. That's actually the most impressive thing about that. I didn't remember he shot that well from three. So I am going to actually put him into the good starter category. Kevin Huerter definitely didn't get a great impression of him when he was a Chicago Bull. However, he also, I'm not sure what his counting stats were. 7 threes a game at 37% in 26 games, 13 points per game. I mean, it seems like he went right back to being the great three-point shooter that he was earlier in his career. So, like, how much do you want to judge him based on the 40 games where he shot 30% from three on 5 attempts, or the 26 where he shot 37% on 7 in a new team's uniform? I don't know. Interesting position. He had that amazing year, his first year with Sacramento alongside Sabonis. I think there was some absurd stat with him where he shot like 80% on corner threes whenever Sabonis passed the ball to him. But yeah, got less and less of a prominent role on the offense after that, and he's just kind of been there the whole time. So I'm gonna just say solid bench piece for now, but I do not think that he is particularly good. Kyrie Irving in that all-star category. I do not think that he is a superstar shooting guard. I'm sure that might be a little controversial, but it is what it is. Mikal Bridges is among the best in this good to great starter category. Wait, what? What the hell? No. Why is that happening? I don't know what the fuck I just did. Bro. Okay. Jesus Christ. Norman Powell. I'm going to put him in this all-star category because he was playing like an all-star before his injury, and I'm going to give him that benefit of the doubt for the season at large. He was not, I don't think he will be an all-star ever. I don't think he'll quite have the season that he did before he got hurt again. But with this ranking is based on what they did in the previous season, and I think he deserves to be among that tier of players, even if I do think he is worse. I also feel like he's better than most of these guys. Colin Sexton, gonna put in good to... I think he's better as a bench piece is the thing. I would say he's more than just a solid bench player and passable starter, but like a good-ass bench player and passable starter. But I don't know. I feel like he probably deserves to be a tier below B, especially given that he was traded for fucking like a second round pick. Anthony Simons, honestly, probably feel similarly about him. I don't know. He's a three-point shooter, which is important to me. Three-point shooting as a guard, especially a smaller guard. These guys are both higher volume scorers, but one of them is doing it while launching 8 three-pointers per game. Another controversial one, but I do not care. I will put Derek White into this all-star category because, good God, what a great starter he is. I recognize that his stats are not necessarily jump off the stat sheet to you, but 16, 5, and 5 while being one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA. I don't know. Maybe I should just say good to great starter. And then last we have Andrew Wiggins. And this is again one with a player who got traded in the middle of the year where it's like, do you want to rank him based on where he was before that or where he was after that? Because he was definitely better with the Miami Heat. The counting stats are not crazy different, but I think I'm going to put him in that good to great starter again. And I'm going to move Derek White and Norman Powell down here because it doesn't feel quite right. But I also feel like what the point I made about Tyler Hero of like, yes, he's an all-star, but there's some guys in B in the right context who I would take over him. Derek White is absolutely one of those dudes where like, if I'm looking for a third option, give me Derek White over Tyler Hero any day of the week. But if I'm looking for a first option, give me Tyler Hero over Derek White. But yeah, go over here to make sure you guys see these heads because they are currently being blocked by me plus an ad, but this is the B tier. And yeah, I think we got all that on screen more or less. I will do this. That isn't helping. No, it's not. Oh, well, it's bringing those guys over. Okay, maybe this will do it. There we go. They're all on screen now. That is my definitive shooting guards list. I think there's a player or two missing here. Like, I don't know why Quentin Grimes is not on this list. I don't know why Zach LaVine is not on this list. But aside from those guys, there you go. The starting shooting guards in the NBA. Let me know what tiers you think I got wrong, what players you would have moved elsewhere and all of that. But thank you so much for watching.